Good morning. I'm MJ, and this morning we're going to do a quick little look at both Venezuela and Maduro. Uh, and the reason being is that, as I had noted before, the United States was going to be doing a lot of saber rattling with Venezuela and specifically with Maduro to see. And I mean, the intent is really probably to get him out of power. So let's take a look and see, because there's been a lot of activity this week. They've been shooting boats out of the water. They don't know who are in the boats, and this is the Americans shooting it. They've been doing flybys. So let's take a look at what's showing up in Venezuela's chart. And please note that I had talked about a lot of this already. So we've got two on Venezuela and two on Maduro. So let's take a look at the first chart. One of the things you're going to notice is that we have what's called a grand trine. And that's noted in the green. The grand trine is the transits right now, and that's actually for today. We have Mars at 27 Scorpio, and that's actually trine to Saturn at 25 Pisces, and that's in turn trine to 25 Jupiter in Cancer. And that in turn is trine to the 27 Mars in Scorpio. So the intent of all this trine, there's a lot of energy here, but it's actually, trines are easy, they're harmonious. But the Saturn here is actually sitting right on Venezuela's Mars. So what is that? It is a restriction. So it's not letting them move. It's not letting them have any actions. And that's in effect what's happening. They're not, the country is not responding to any of the attacks. They know to do that would cause more issues. And right now, the only thing that the United States is doing is flybys. They've been saying they're going to send people into Venezuela, but it's not really known what these people would actually do. Are they there to sort of take down Maduro, or are they there for other purposes? It's hard to say. Now, the other piece I want to note here is that we have Neptune opposing the sun, and that's in red. So the sun is the country's identity. Neptune is going to cause a lot of confusion here, a lot of deception. So in effect, the country is not being told the truth. And that means probably that the United States has some focus in mind here, and they're not sharing that. Now, is it just the fishing boats? Or the drug boats? Again, we don't know. There's no proof. Is it something else they have in mind? Again, this is showing that there is deception, there is fog. But right now, it's a trine, so it's an easy angle. And the intent is to stop, pretty much restrict any activities. And so in this case, we're not looking at, from this point, that we're having any overt, concentrated attack on Venezuela. Could be under the covers, could be, covert operations going on. And that's what that Neptune would identify. So let's take a look at our next one here. And that is, it's again Venezuela, but I want to bring up another chart here because there was too much in the other one. In this case, we have another grand trine. And what's happening is it actually involves the sun of Venezuela, which is the country's identity. So what do we have here? We have Pluto on one end, and we have Uranus on the other end. So what is all this indicating? Probably some type of change. So we could have a regime change. It's trying, so it's easy. So it could be that maybe Maduro just steps down. Maybe some agreement is reached. But this indicates it's trine, so the energies are harmonized, and there's nothing at this point that I'm seeing that indicates that there's going to be troops or a big attack going in. Again, could be covert operations. So now let's take a look at Maduro. And the first piece we have here, first chart, we have his Sun and his Mercury. And they're actually at the early degrees of Sagittarius and the end degrees of Scorpio. So first thing we have is Uranus, which is opposing that. Uranus is at 0 gem. So it's opposing the Sun, and it had opposed Mercury, but it's actually heading in that direction again, because it's sort of in the backward motion. And remember, when we've got backward motions, we've got a lot of stuff going on underneath the covers. So that's what's happening in the last chart also with Venezuela. That Saturn was actually something that was sort of under the covers. It's sort of delayed. So we're probably not seeing the whole effect of that. So we have Uranus that's opposing his Sun, Mercury. Sun, his identity. And in effect, this could indicate that massive change is coming about. When we take a look, we see Mars is coming up to conjunct his Sun and his Mercury. So this is an action on him specifically. So this could be that maybe, yes, he is stepping down. He is forced to step down. Or it could be there's an attempt made on him. So there's something that's sitting here. Now, the other one I want to note here is the Pluto, and that is on the South Node. South Node is where you give out. Pluto is changes. So this could indicate that, yeah, he's at a low point in his life. And he might be forced to step down or to have some type of reckoning here. So now let's take a look at the last one we have for him. And where are we here? And in this case, we have a trine. We've got Neptune at 28 Pisces. And this is actually trine to the Sun and Mercury. What's Neptune? A vision. And this is in Maduro's chart. So is he seeing some vision that he can still stay in power? That might be. Now, one thing I didn't put in here, which is actually sort of part of the trine here, is the Jupiter. So we could actually have a grand trine, but the Jupiter is sitting at 25 versus Neptune is at 29, and Mercury and the Sun is a little bit further. So I didn't really want to put this in at this point, but it is something that could happen later down the line. So it could be that he works out some type of truce here, that he's able to stay in power, and but with changes. So that could be. So we'll need to come back and reevaluate. But in effect, yes. So we've got all this stuff. The United States probably doesn't want to have him in power, but they don't want to attack. But they may try and take him out. So be prepared for that. Have a good one. Bye now.